the action of gratitude, just saying thank you, accrues no mental health benefits to you. It accrues no emotional health benefits to you. It can literally just be a learned response. Somebody at the drive-through window handed you a bag with some burgers in it. Thank you. That doesn't benefit your mental health. You should still do it. But you want to know where the benefit comes to your mental health is when you go through life with this massive attitude of gratitude. And for you, it could be you're grateful to God. It could be you're grateful to the universe. Heck, it could just be you're just grateful. But it doesn't matter sort of who you're grateful towards. It's that no matter what, as you go through life, you receive all of the circumstances and situations of your life with this attitude of gratitude, this attitude that says, I appreciate what happens. You know, when your life is hit with the hardship, that's when gratitude matters the most. Hey everybody, I just want to spend a couple of moments today talking about 3 proven pillars to live a flourishing life. Now, that word flourishing is super meaningful to us. You may know me. My name's Abe Brown, and I'm the CEO of Certified Flourishing Coaching. And we literally built flourishing into the name of our business, the name of our philosophical approach to coaching, because we believe that every person is absolutely destined to flourish. Now, flourishing is not a money word. It's not a Hollywood word. It's a word about the way that you can live. It's a word that speaks to thriving. It's an inside-out, strength-based approach to living, where a person is living their lives feeling like they matter, feeling like they have meaning and purpose, and feeling like they have agency and that they're empowered to make changes in their own lives. Tell you what, when you have those things, flourishing is such a powerful part of the way that you operate and the way that you live in your life. And so let me give you 3 proven ways that you can flourish. And I'm not saying these are the only 3. You could probably add in your 3 too. But let me give you 3 that I've been thinking a lot about. The first one is to stop avoiding pain. Stop avoiding pain. Now, you wouldn't think that, right? You'd think somebody talking about flourishing, it would be all, sunshine and rainbows and butterflies. And I'm all into butterflies and definitely rainbows. But I'll tell you what, pain is a part of some of the most magical moments that can come in your life. Now, I'm not saying for 1 second that we go out and look for more pain. That would be silly. But what I am saying is we have to stop going through life constantly trying to avoid every kind of hardship, every kind of difficulty, because fragility is not resilience, okay? And so you are not a resilient person if you are completely bubble wrapped and if every moment might trigger you and set you off. That is actually the opposite of resilience. I mean, if I take this little remote control thing and I hold it up 10 feet and I drop it, I think we all know because it's plastic, it would shatter. And dumb me for dropping it from 10 feet high. But if I take a rubber ball and drop it from 1,000 feet high, it's not going to shatter. Why? Because it's resilient. It has the ability to fall down, but bounce back. And a lot of the time people are trying to flourish and they're trying to figure out how come I'm not flourishing. It's because they're running around trying with all their hearts to avoid pain. I'm not saying go looking for pain, but listen, you are strong. When the pain elevates, that's when you accelerate, right? That's when you're at your finest moment. It's when you're that little rubber ball being dropped from 1,000 feet up because you know that you have the power to bounce back. And you really do if you give yourself the power to bounce back. I think the second sort of massive key or pillar for people who want to flourish, and this one is a proven pillar, absolutely, is gratitude. It's gratitude, okay? Now, gratitude is an attitude more than it's an action. What I mean by that is sometimes we can say, oh, thank you. And it's sort of polite to do that, isn't it? Of course, certainly in most cultures, it's just becomes this ritual. Somebody hands us something, oh, thank you. Somebody does something, oh, thank you. And I'm not saying we should stop, but I think we confuse the action, oh, thank you, with the attitude, which is gratitude. And then what happens is we get into other situations And because we don't have the attitude of gratitude, though we've had the action, we end up with an attitude of entitlement. You see, sometimes you can focus a lot more on form than substance. You can focus a lot more on the outer than the inner. And so we're like, well, I said thank you, I'm grateful. But you're actually not operating in an attitude of grateful. I can promise you this, the action of gratitude, just saying thank you, accrues no mental health benefits to you. It accrues no emotional health benefits to you. It can literally just be a learned response. Somebody at the drive-through window handed you a bag with some burgers in it. Thank you. That doesn't benefit your mental health. You should still do it. But you want to know where the benefit comes to your mental health is when you go through life with this massive attitude of gratitude. And for you, it could be you're grateful to God. It could be you're grateful to the universe. Heck, it could just be you're just grateful. But it doesn't matter sort of who you're grateful towards. It's that no matter what, as you go through life, you receive all of the circumstances and situations of your life with this attitude of gratitude, this attitude that says, I appreciate what happens. You know, when your life is hit with the hardship, that's when gratitude matters the most. That's when gratitude actually matters the most, is not so much when everything is good, but when it's not good. And I actually think that's why the scientists tell us that gratitude is actually a discipline, right? Because there are times in your life, there are moments when you might not feel grateful. And so it becomes a discipline to set up that mental posture or attitude of gratitude. But, you know, those same scientists tell us that we're the ones who benefit when we have that attitude of gratitude. So am I saying to stop saying thank you? Not at all. Keep saying thank you, please, as a matter of fact. But make sure that the attitude is stronger than the action, all right? Especially when it comes to gratitude. The third thing that you can do if you want to have a flourishing life is to tell yourself an empowering story. Now, we're all telling ourselves a story, and the story sometimes is disempowering, and sometimes the story we're telling ourselves is demeaning, and sometimes it's toxic, and it's not even that we necessarily made that story up. Sometimes it's just the thing that other people have told us about us. I remember when I was in school and I was a little kid, I was a bad kid. I was about 8 years old, maybe grade 3. And my principal said to me, Abe, you're such a bad kid. One day you're going to go to prison, you know? And so a lot of the time, the negative stories that we tell ourselves don't even come from us. Maybe it's something we saw online. Maybe it's a racist comment that some horrible person might have said to us. Maybe somebody who bullied us was really, really abusive in the things that they said. And now that's like playing in the back of our mind. It's playing in the back of our mind. And what we don't know is if that tape keeps playing, it will actually drive your behavior. And so I'm pleading with you today to unpack the story that you're telling yourself and really ask yourself this question: is it empowering me? You know, sometimes, you know, like a victim mindset can seem like the right thing to do because maybe you have been victimized, but I can promise you that mindset won't empower you. And so, you know, quickly acknowledge what happened, but then get on the other side where now you can begin to tell yourself an empowering story. Now, what is an empowering story? You might be like, well, what is an empowering story? An empowering story is a strength-based story. It's a story that focuses a lot more on what's strong about you rather than what's wrong about you. It focuses a lot more on strength rather than weakness. It fixates a lot more on the good in you rather than the struggles that you might be having. And when you tell yourself that story consistently enough, guess what happens? It actually begins to work. In other words, your life lines up with that. It's truly transformational. And so I hope this has been helpful for you as we talk about 3 pillars for a flourishing life. Flourishing is such an important word. Number 1, stop avoiding pain. Number 2, practice your gratitude. Number 3, tell yourself an empowering story. And if that was meaningful to you, would you go to failuretoflourishing.com and you can download some unbelievable free resources that will take you to the next level. Thank you so much for tuning in.